What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Pan-Africanism fights against xenophobia. And I wanted to make this video because I have come to the conclusion that most Pan-Africans on social media don't get a lot of attention. They're scattered everywhere, talking truth to power, talking against hate, talking against division, talking against xenophobia, and no one is giving them a push in the algorithm, because the algorithm currently right now is helping xenophobia, helping racism spread in order to sow division, to distract the peasant class, the middle class and the lower class, while the rich class, the 1% class, continue to make their illegal moves on the global scale to secure their futures as the well is about to dry up, to secure themselves as the bottom is about to be pulled from underneath everybody, as the proverbial shit hit the fan, right? The rich people are preparing themselves and sucking up the last bit of nutrients from the body of the planet as they possibly can, like the vampires that they are, right? So they pass along their distractions to the perfectly curated, ignorant masses of human beings who are perfectly uneducated in various different matters in order for them to be afraid of each other. Right, and so that is being utilized in Africa in many different ways right now, as Pan-Africanism is heating up, is organizing, is having success, is finally creating tangible results for people, right? While Pan-Africanism is finally solidifying and organizing its various different organizations and groups and countries and alliances, as it finally solidifies, right, its enemies, which is Pan-Europeanism, the UN, the International Monetary Fund, all Western nations who need Africa to stay divided in order for them to put their little succubus, freaking blood-sucking orifice into the cracks of Africa. They need to split so they can fit their little orifices inside the cracks, right? But those cracks are becoming lesser and lesser, so white supremacy is deploying one of our favorite tools, which is to convince unknowledgeable people that the people that look like them are the reason why they are suffering. You know, works every time, right? Same technique, right? Modified differently for different groups of people, whether it's Islam versus Christianity, whether it's Catholics versus Protestants, whether it's Sunni versus Shiite, Coolie Indians versus Afro-Indian, Coolie Indian Caribbeans versus African Caribbeans. It's Japanese versus Chinese, Koreans versus Japanese. You just name it, right? We can keep it Indian versus Chinese. There's always something, right? A way to divide, to create division, and that's what's being deployed amongst Africans. But I just want you to know that Africa, and mainly South Africa, because they're the star of the show with the xenophobia on the continent right now, as FBA are the star of the show of xenophobia in America right now. And so, but we're going to concentrate more on South Africa, because there's plenty of Pan-Africans that's enough getting highlighted within the sphere of the North America African Americans, right? But I believe that the South African Pan-Africans are not getting, their voices are not being heard, right? Because the media is drowning them out and making it seem like that the xenophobic movement is the main movement, the main ideology of South Africa, the crux, right? Because they want other African countries to be offended, to make political and economic decisions based off the xenophobia that they see, right? And because of that, the media is only pointing towards that micro minority that's getting all of the media play right now, and they're not focusing on the majority of Pan-African, pro-black, pro-African South Africans who are actively vocalizing and condemning these actions on behalf of their brothers and sisters on the continent, who they see no difference between them and the rest are, so I just feel like I should highlight them, because they're not getting their voices, heard, and it's on purpose, right? And it's to create a public narrative. You got the public narrative, what the narrative is what people believe, and then you got what's really happening on the real world, and those are usually two different things. Anyway, you guys tell me what you think in the comment section. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
My Pan-Africans and pro-Black people, we are at a crazy time right now. A lot of people want our heads right now. A lot of people are talking shit about us right now. Oh, Pan-Africans this and Pan-Africans that. But I want y'all to think of it as a compliment. If we weren't making noise, if we weren't the big dogs, right, then they wouldn't be talking about us. So let them talk. And this is not just the Pan Africans that they're talking about. They're talking about anybody who is proud to be Black, anybody who is associated with their African heritage. They don't like us because we claim our African blood, we claim our African side, and we ain't on the bullshit. Yes, my ancestors are African, and yes, I was born right here in America, raised right here in America. And that's just what it is. You can't tell me that I'm not American. You can't tell me that I'm not African. And you definitely can't sit up here and tell me that I'm some Native American. Let these people talk, all right? Let them talk because we have the receipts to back up what we have done in the community. We set the blueprint, we set the bar. And because we set the bar, everybody wants a piece of us, baby. You see, a proud Black person who is attached to their heritage, tethered to their heritage, they can't fuck with. All the other people that want to be something different, they want to claim they're Native American or they want to claim that they're Black, but they're somehow not attached to their African heritage. Those people aren't a threat because they're about division. And you know, every time we divide, we get conquered. They don't have enough strength. They don't have the wables, the balls, right? The kahunas, right? To stand strong and unify. Colonization broke them up a long time ago. So when you hear them talking about the Pan-Africans and the pro-Blacks and the Blacks that are happy to be who they are, let them losers talk. Tell them the proof is in the work. And you ain't touching us on the work that we put out in the community. Period, point blank. Big ups to my Africa, my African ancestors, I should say.
So people are looking at South Africa with the xenophobic protests and violence we've seen, with at least 2 Nigerians killed, and we've seen protests in Durban, in Johannesburg, Operation Dudula, violence against Zimbabweans, Nigerians, and Ghanaians, and everyone is focused on South Africa right now. But we need to really talk to ourselves about the xenophobic violence that is spreading across Africa because it's absolutely frightening. In Tunisia, if we look at the north, let's leave the south for now. Look at the north. Tunisia is having large-scale expulsion of sub-Saharan African migrants, dumping them. They're called desert dumps, taking them from urban areas like Tunis and dumping them in the desert near the border. We are also seeing in Ghana, who's dealing with a diplomatic issue with South Africa because of violence against Ghanaians. We are seeing a Ghana First movement happen in Ghana, asking for Nigerians to leave the country. If we look at East Africa, now we've touched north, south, west. In the east, in Kenya, we are seeing protests against Somalians and Burundians, shutting down of Somalian wholesalers in Nairobi, asking them to leave. This did not start today. And we actually have to ask ourselves, why do we see Europeans as expats? And we see other Africans as immigrants? Why do we see Europeans as people who should get better treatment, but our fellow Africans should be tossed out? It's not just about economics, it's not just about unemployment, and it's not just about crime. It's about how we value ourselves individually as people, as Black people, and how we see each other on this continent. Not everybody has to be a Pan-Africanist though, but come on, this is crazy.
Look, if we really want African unity, we're going to have to stop gaslighting poor South Africans. We're going to have to stop gaslighting them. As we speak, South African residents from Kagiso, the East Rand of Johannesburg, have been displaced from their homes for months. They are homeless due to the incessant violence occurring in their community. They are being terrorized by Zamazamas. Zamazamas primarily from where? Lesotho, Mozambique, Zimbabwe. Also, in my hood in Soweto, children, literally like over 12 children, unalived from spaza shop food sold by foreigners. So imagine if me, with my middle class English and my degree, I go to these people and I tell them, you're being xenophobic. And I speak down to my own people. I speak down to my own people, despite the fact that they are facing very real challenges that I, as a privileged person that lives in the suburbs and grew up primarily in the suburbs, will never have to face. I'll never have to face eating poisonous food from a spaza shop. Do you know why? Because I can go buy food from Woolworths. I'll never have to face living in an area terrorized by illegal miners from other countries. I try to understand why people think the way they do, instead of just labeling South Africans as violent savages. Because at the end of the day, yes, xenophobic rhetoric does exist, right? But at the same time, let's not label an entire group of people as violent, irrational savages when they are actually facing real problems in their communities that the government refuses to address. And every time the government refuses to address these issues, what happens? It escalates into extreme violence, which is what we saw in Kugompo, in Eastern Cape. Who does it benefit? The narrative that we are violent, irrational, hateful people, when I truly believe at our core we are not. I'm also not saying violence is okay or justified or encouraging violence. The government should, like, they know by now. They just don't care, you know? It's just the thing of who does it benefit when we are continuously in these situations? And obviously, it benefits the people at the top.
And another thing, when did we as South Africans stop being Pan-Africanist? Like, are we forgetting that we were literally the last African country to gain its independence? Zimbabwe was independent before us, Malawi, Mozambique, all of our neighbors. So who do you think applied pressure on the apartheid regime? Who do you think made it difficult for the apartheid regime to just operate because they had all of our borders locked and loaded? It just, like, I don't know, it feels like we're now turning around and saying F you to all the people that literally helped us get to the point that we're at now, just because we're the ones that have it sweet. I don't know. My question, guys, hey, don't fight me. My question is just, when did we stop being Pan-Africanist? When did we stop having the interest of Africans at heart? Or we're just happy with yes bus, no bus?
I'm so pro-black, you can't get me to involve myself in diaspora wars. I'm every nigga on this earth. I'm African, I'm Caribbean, I'm Afro-Latina, I'm Afro-European. If you're a nigga, I am you, you are me. I don't know what to tell you. You're me, you're me, I'm you. I don't know.
If I'm not mistaken, you're an American.
Let me correct something first of all. I'm an African who was born in America. That does not make me an American. I'm an African. Look at me. I'm an African. Okay. When people ask me if I'm an American, I tell them the same thing. I am an African who was born in America.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.